Hi there, I'm Gail DeMarco, and I'm your St. Johns County real estate, expert. I've sold at least $1 billion in real estate, and I did at least 2 years of research looking at every property, every neighborhood, over 20 trips down here when I relocated here from California. So I can definitely shed some light on this beautiful community, places you would want to move, places you'd like to avoid. Today I'm actually in Miami Beach, and I flew down here because one of my investor clients says, Gail, I hear people are fleeing Miami Beach and I want to take as far as the condos because they're raising all the condo HOA prices, just a lot of different things. So even the ones that haven't been raised, people getting nervous, are they going to double my HOA? So we're seeing a ton of inventory down here, and I'm just blown away with some of the values. So I just thought this morning, I'm actually in my hotel room at Miami Beach, and I just thought, okay, before I go meet my client, I'm just gonna talk about the market, why this is a great market for buyers. It's an incredible market for buyers. Think about it. Well, you're gonna go, Gail, are you freaking crazy? Are you crazy? Because the interest rates are almost 7%, right? We're in November of 2024, but not everybody takes a loan, right? And if you are a cash buyer, well, you have definitely a huge up. But if you're not a cash buyer, I want you to think about this. The truth is, right now, everybody's negotiable. Everybody's negotiable. I just did a deal for one of my clients, and we actually not only offered $50,000 lower than the actual price, I also had the client pay me my commission not outside of escrow, but outside of the transaction. So now her property taxes are less. So there's all kinds of different ways to make things work in your favor. I always say, and you'll hear me say it over and over, math is the path. So, the perfect time to be buying a house right now is right now, and I call it the golden moment, right? But at the end of the day, what is your goal? Are you building a portfolio? Are you buying a house for the first time? What does that look like? Oh, by the way, if you like the information I'm putting out, do me a huge, huge favor. Just so my husband doesn't keep yelling at me like why I'm spending all this time on making YouTube videos instead of cleaning or cooking or something like that, subscribe. So if I can show him, hey, guess what? I have 2 subscribers. Maybe he'll leave me alone. The market is so slow right now. It's just so slow. I mean, I'm a listing agent too, because I do 75% listing, 25% buyers who are motivated, buyers who I click with. I will absolutely work with them. And a lot of my sellers end up buying, right? And I love people who are relocating. So if you're one of those people relocating, gosh, I can probably narrow down your search in nanos time because the fact I've already done all the research. In a hot market, if it's hot, then sellers have the power. You have no power. Today I can negotiate almost anything that's on the market. Sellers are just willing to come down on price, make repairs, or give you a huge, huge credit. I just got a $40,000 credit for a home and it wasn't anything crazy. I mean, there were some stucco cracks, the pool needed to be resealed. There was a whole laundry list of things, and when we added it up, they threw us $40,000 because they wanted to give us 20, and I said, no, that's not going to even cut it. So when you're not afraid to walk away, just like if you're buying a car, walk away, then it just sends a signal. Hey, do you want to sell, or do you want to sit? I always tell people, thank God I don't play poker, because I'd probably be a great, great poker player and probably squander away all my money, right? Because that's what real estate is. It's a poker game. Don't show them your cards. They're not showing you their cards, but data always shows me what is really going to be expected. And you know what? Your house is only worth what a buyer's willing to pay. And I'm just blown away with what listing agents will tell you. If you call me on one of my listings, I'm not going to tell you, oh my God, they're getting a divorce, we have to sell quick, they have a motivated seller, write me an offer. Never. I'm not going to tell you why we're selling. I usually kind of default to my usual. Hey, they're just moving closer to family. Straight face. Okay, I'm not going to say, hey, guess what? They're relocating, he lost his job, they're getting a divorce. he's sick, she's sick. That's not the buyer's business. The only thing that matters to the buyer is it a house that would be a good fit for me? Do I love the location? Do I love everything about it? And is a price right? That's the most important thing, is a price right. So just keep in mind, when rates drop, as a buyer, you lose so much power, right? Because sellers won't even feel the need to play nice, because it comes and goes. The market fluctuates all the time. So don't look at it like, oh my God, I can't buy right now. You can probably negotiate such a better deal that it would absolutely make up for the high interest rate. And then in 2025, that's all over the news, they're going to be reducing the interest rates, they say 5 times. So then you can refinance. But, just be savvy. Using the slower market, not only to offer a lower price, but I get every seller to pay my commission. As far as we do have to sign the buyer broker agreement, we absolutely do. I can't even show you virtually. I cannot even FaceTime you from a house if I don't have a buyer broker agreement. In August of 2024, the laws have changed that the sellers are no longer required to offer a buyer broker commission, or they're not allowed at all. We are not allowed as listing agents to even publish it on any marketing material. But what do you think the first thing that people ask me when they call me on one of my listings? Hey Gail, love your listing. What's the commission? They don't even ask, is the seller paying commission? They'll say, what's the commission? Because I guarantee you, that's the big question for them. I mean, they don't want to work for free. And most buyers aren't real comfortable signing a buyer broker agreement, because it basically says if you can't negotiate the commission, you're going to pay for it. And I'll tell you what, at the end of the day, I don't work for free. You don't work for free. But sellers know that they have to be competitive, especially here in St. Johns County, because we have all these new builders that are offering 3%. Bonuses, 5,000, 10,000, 5%. Lennar's offering 5% commission as of today for the buyer's agent, because they want to sell, but the builders want to sell. So if you're a seller, and honestly, I will see some lower commissions. And at the end of the day, it's not about the commission. It's not about the transaction. It's about the relationship that you and I are going to build. Because I work with people all day long, just like you. And right now, we are in a really special situation since we have so much inventory, and it's just because things are sitting longer. Can you imagine how many sellers are sitting on the market waiting for the interest rates to get around 5? Then we're going to see a whole bunch of inventory, and they're going to start going. And forget the sellers, I have a ton of buyers. My website, I get so much traffic. I probably get 3 to 6 buyers every single day that send inquiries, either from my YouTube channel or from my website. So some of my buyers, like the buyer that I'm dealing with right now, and I'll be here for another 2 days with him, what he likes to do is he likes to go in and offer a lower price, does not ask the seller to pay for the commission. He will pay me the commission, and he'll pay it out of the transaction. He'll pay it through escrow, but he just likes to pay lower property taxes. So I think that, I'm like, that sounds good. So, but remember folks, math is the path. I always say that, don't take the emotions out of it. Don't get emotional about a property. So I kind of like working with investors too, because they just don't, it's like, hey, if it doesn't financially make sense, find me something else. That's it. Where, as a homeowner, when we're raising a family and we're driving around the neighborhood, we see the schools, and we see the ice cream truck, and we see kids riding their bicycles, and we see all the things that places like California doesn't have, right? And it's green. We get emotionally wrapped up. But I want it to be more of a buying strategy for you, and a tax saving strategy hack like my client has figured out. But if you want a home where you're in the driver's seat, don't wait, and just remember that what goes up must come down. So there's always an advantage to every market. At the end of the day, let's just talk about the recent change to the buyer agent commissions, I briefly touched on that. But, I can hear you now, Gail. What does that mean for me? Because a lot of you are taking advantage of Zillow and just using the 1-week buyer tour to have them open up a house, and then like, I really don't want to sign that, because signing something you don't really understand is scary. And believe me, it was scary for me, because I can't even tell you, every single time I have a listing, I have my clients call me, well, why am I paying you like 8%? I'm like, what? So basically, you can only put down what your commission is, so mine is 3% on the selling side. And then if if a buyer comes unrepresented and he wants me to do the paperwork, we add on another fee. It could be 1%, it could be 2%, it could be whatever that number is. And then there's another spot that says, well, if a buyer comes with a buyer's agent, what is that commission? So they're adding up all three and coming up, I'm like, I wish it was that, but it's not. But buyer agent, commissions aren't automatically posted on listings anymore, which makes it so confusing, and to just, I always want to discuss compensation, with, my sellers before, because I'm also one of those agents when somebody calls me and says, hey, what's commission? I go, hey, what's your offer? Depends on your offer. If you give me a lowball offer, I'm not going to encourage my seller to pay you a full commission. So depending on the offer, everything is negotiable. But, sellers, just be open to all offers. That's all I want to say. Because as a buyer's agent and a listing agent, we got to start somewhere to get here, right? And here's where I'm going to make your life just even a little bit easier. So out of my last 8 buyers, not one of them had to pay my personal commission. Okay, except for this one. Well, actually 2. 2 did, but they did it for tax strategy savings. And this gentleman here, he's also going to be paying me, through escrow, but outside of the transaction, so the property tax is lower. I've had 100% success rate. So, what I do behind the scenes, I think you will say, a lot of my buyers like, oh my gosh, Gail, I can't even believe, I feel like I want to pay you triple. I need to pay you double. I need to bonus you. And I go, no, that's just my job. You're just not used to seeing agents work as hard as I do. When I'm in it with you, I am all in it, because you don't have that experience and you haven't been spanked as many times. I've sold $1 billion in real estate. So when you do that many transactions, you're going to learn a lot of life lessons in real estate. But if you're doing it for the first time, or you're doing it with a new agent or somebody who just doesn't have the experience, you're not going to get the same results. I'm practically like a real estate superhero. That's what my grandkids say. Grandma, you're like a superhero, because they see me on the phone, and I try not to be on the phone when I have my grandkids, but I'm a realtor. That does happen, and they know, hey, if grandma's on the phone, you get to go to my freezer and take out whether ice pop or go into grandma's treasure chest and go and take whatever toy you want. So, just don't stress about the fee. I've got you covered there, and I'm always going to work my magic. So now that it is the slower market, you're seeing just a lot more open houses, a lot more. And no, it's not like I like to spend my weekends doing open houses, but it's just my job. And at my job, I want to transact business. I don't want to be on my phone. I'm not there to talk to your neighbor, and I'll tell you, there's 2 different sides to open houses. Some people say, Gail, I don't want any open houses. Absolutely not. But if I tell you that 60% of my listings have been sold through open houses, like I'm writing an offer probably tonight. He's already sent me over the terms from a buyer that came in. And at my open house last Saturday, I only had 2 families come in, and this house has been on the market for 30 days, and he wants to write an offer. So had that house not been open, I would not be getting my seller an offer. If you're worried about your neighbors coming in, just clean, impress them. Who cares? So just think about this, people. Who moves into a neighborhood, right? They usually know somebody. So it's usually your neighbors. Maybe they have a friend or a family member that they're trying to move closer. Why wouldn't you open your house? You're trying to sell your house. Okay, you're not trying to keep out people. It doesn't matter. People are people. If they're a qualified buyer, let's let them see the house. Right now you're just in a unique situation, being able to shop around without making a rushed decision. This is a huge, huge benefit, and it's rare. So if you're in the market, take advantage of this flexibility, and the freedom to check out all your options. And by the way, if you haven't already done so, can you just please hit that subscribe button? Thank you. I so appreciate that. You know, as far as negotiating right now, you know, with the market slower, you just have way more options. You know, we can negotiate things like repairs and closing costs and closing credits. You know, imagine you find a property and maybe the carpet's a bit worn, right? Or maybe the HVAC needs some love. Or, you know, in a hot market, you can negotiate repairs, but you really think the sellers are going to do it? No, they're going to say, forget about it. Take it as is. You know, we could lower the purchase price right now. We can get things done. I don't know, people. I just say math is the path. You know, put on a different hat right now. Look at it. Forget the media. Forget about all that other stuff. If a home is sitting and you need to move, this is a phenomenal time, and you will regret it. You will regret it. Just like people regret all those homes they bought in COVID because they just reacted too fast and they paid too much money. But you will regret for not taking advantage of a buyer's market because we haven't seen that in a long time. So you may be wondering, you know, well, if rates, Gail, you just said rates are going to drop 5 times. Well, why buy now if they're expected to drop? Well, here's the scoop. Once rates drop, you know, it's going to be a seller's market. And then you're going to have fewer price reductions. You're just going to have less flexibility. You'll be scrambling to get in a deal. You know, right now buyers have the upper hand. You know, that's just the facts. And, you know, that luxury, once that luxury of having the buyer's market vanishes, then you're just going to be competing with everybody else again. And that doesn't feel good. So what if the rates come down 1%? And then all of a sudden, you know, you have to just take the house as is. So if you're absolutely on the fence, you know, just give me a call. Call me 904-640-8000. Let's talk this out. Let's just figure this out together. And again, I'd just love to help you and your family relocate. It's been the best thing for my family, and I just look forward to chatting with you. Thank you.